Welcome to the KMG Fiduciary Partners Podcast. Here, we'll cover important topics on financial planning and asset management to help keep you informed and inspired for long-term success on your financial journey. Let's join the KMG team now for today's topic. Welcome to the KMG Fiduciary Partners Podcast. My name is Cameron Kaiser. I am a CFP professional and wealth advisor here at KMG. I'm here with Rob Thompson, who's a CPA and also a wealth advisor at KMG. So today we're going to be talking about year-end reviews, and more importantly, what a year-end review actually looks like for clients. So Rob, what are the main elements you look at when running a year-end review?
Yeah, so I think it really depends on what the client has going on. So first and foremost, are they still working, or are they employed, or are they retired? So for those that are still employed and still working, some of the things that we're certainly going to do are jump into the employee benefits site and make sure that we've got everything situated for that next calendar year from a benefits perspective, just to make sure that we've maximized the benefits that are available to that employee, along with sort of preparing for that next year. So just as much as it is a year-end review, it's also sort of a preview for the next year. Some other things that we'll be doing for those that are still working are making sure that any buckets that we wanted to max out or contribute to before year end. So maybe we contribute to a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA, or both, which would be a backdoor Roth IRA. We'll make sure that we look at that and take care of that before December 31st. That way, new year, when the new year starts, we're ready to go, and we've got everything sort of situated and we're ready to take on whatever that new year throws at us. Now, for those who are no longer working, the year-end review is a little bit more labor intensive, because what we're doing at that point is, number one, we're looking at year to date, what tax implications have we created from an investment perspective, and if, given, depending on their age, a required minimum distribution perspective. And if they're not taking RMDs yet, we'll go ahead and run a tax projection to say, okay, here's where income is going to land, or this is relatively the neighborhood that we think income is going to land. So maybe we take $20,000 or whatever the number might be and convert that money into Roth IRA money, basically bringing forward income taxes, but knowing that we're setting ourselves up for a lower required minimum distribution once they do begin. That would be one thing that we'll definitely be looking at, along with, I kind of mentioned it there, just doing a tax projection overall to make sure that if they maybe fall under some sort of a limit, that we're going to take advantage of any account that we can contribute to. So things like making sure that you've maxed out your HSA for the year, because that's something that you can do until you're age 65, or basically until you begin Medicare. So that's something that we want to do for people across the board, regardless of employment status. Other than that, really just making sure that we've taken care and kind of dotted our I's, crossed our T's for everything that has happened in this past year. But just like those that are employed, kind of planting a seed that is going to say, hey, we've talked about this today, but maybe next year or the year after that, we're going to begin Social Security or something that we may not have started yet, but we want them to be able to anticipate is going to be happening in the near term. So that's a quick, and I try to keep it as brief as I could, sort of rundown of what the year-end review typically looks like.
Yeah, and that's the way I always like to look at it, is that it's one final review, making, like you said, cross your T's, dot your I's, to make sure we're not forgetting anything before the new year starts.
Yeah, so I think, and this is one other thing I just want to throw in, we're going to be pulling your financial plan up and looking at that and making sure that it jives with what is actually going on in your life. So revisiting expenses, which is everybody's favorite thing to do, but it's important for us to make sure that we've got a good grasp on what your expenses look like, because that ultimately determines whether or not you're going to have a successful retirement. So I think that's probably good for year-end review, at least high level.
Yeah, and again, it's going to vary from individual to individual, so please, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We'd love to help. Thanks for joining us for this edition of the KMG Fiduciary Partners Podcast. We invite you to catch the next episode in our series for real-world advice from the KMG team. Follow us on LinkedIn at KMG Fiduciary Partners, where we'll keep the conversation going.